Lorrel Elian. This is my guest today that I got to meet about a month or so ago at this event called Collaborate, where I went to look for some authors and speakers and just thought leaders. And I had the pleasure to be introduced to Lorrel. And she's, like I said, is going to show you how to attract ideal clients. And this talent that she has is she can read your face. She can literally read your face. Okay? Now understand that it's body language communication signals. And once you master this, you're going to start attracting more clients. You're going to start closing more clients. And today you're going to learn some things you have been doing, which is why you didn't close that last sale, which is why you've been repelling clients unknowingly. Look, it's not your fault. You didn't realize it, and you're going to learn today.
Thank you so much, Damien, for inviting me. I help business owners more easily attract ideal clients that bring more money into their businesses through nonverbal communication skills that you just haven't tapped into yet. Through my coaching programs, I'm creator of Mind Your Business. So have you ever wondered why you get the opposite of what you really want, maybe in your life or definitely in your business? All of your faces and just have a really great connection, because really in business and in life, that's what people are looking for, is the connection. And what I truly love about Zoom and this last year that's changed our world, changed how we do business, is that it's given us the opportunity to connect on a deeper level. So I learned through different businesses that I built that the struggles and rejections that I was dealing with had a lot more to do with what I couldn't see. I worked really hard to get customers, and I know you can relate to that. In fact, it's what pushed me to exhaustion, dis-ease, and dysfunction, not just in my life, but in my body. So the resource that I'm going to share with you is what I discovered. So you actually have it, although you might not be aware of it. And if you're not aware of it, you're not using it. And it's likely that that's what's working against your situation in your relationships and just in all areas of your life. We're all born with it. It's shaped by the life that you've lived and how you experience it. So I'm talking about your nonverbal, the nonverbal messages and your body language communication, the unseen messages that cause reactions in others that result in how you experience your life and your business. Likely heard, how you do anything is how you do everything, because what's going on here is what's going on out there. So are you attracting or repelling new clients and the money that comes with them? So in business, it's powerful to understand this about yourself and also those around you, so that you can attract and close the deals with the knowing and a confidence that comes from understanding your body language messaging. So one of my taglines is, your body is your business. So what I'm talking about is deeper than micro movements and signals. This comes from your story. And whether you think that you've let go of it, dealt with it, that's in the past. If you think about situations that cause you stress, joy, trauma, it's still with you. If you think about it once a week, once a month, once a year, at a cellular level in your body, that message is there. So I want to talk to you about 3 different things today. Interrupt, you can type in the chat box too at any time. And we'll just we'll just have a really great interaction here, okay? So, are you attracting or repelling? How do you know? So, I'm a master teacher of psychosomatic therapy, which is the body-mind connection. And I never planned to be a teacher of it. It was truly that the doctors had no more solutions for me. I had so many challenges in my personal relationships, along with my business relationships. I tried so many different things. I looked in so many different directions that no one is more surprised than me that I am doing what I do today, because it seemed so way out there. But I needed to find answers in a direction that was like, what's wrong? How come this doesn't work? How come that doesn't work? Can you relate to what's going on in your inner world, either now or in the past? So this is a field of work that I've been in for the last 10 years. And I used to take people into a 12-day retreat to teach them how they come to be in the shape that they're in. And that process is basically unraveling your life through your body. And then I would teach alignments that, and it's really basic. When I say out of alignment, or people say out of alignment, I look at it physically. And I would actually hang a plumb line, and we'd put people into their physical alignment. So the work that goes into that is a lifelong work, from the point of the feet all the way to the top of the head. So that might even sound a little bit woo-woo, but I want you to think about a situation where you got injured, the pain that goes along with it. I'll use the example of getting punched in the arm. So if you got punched in the arm, yeah, and you feel that.
Monkey bump.
Right. So you recover pretty fast. But what if you kept getting that bump every day, over and over again? Think about rejection. That's a good example. How does that feel in here, but you don't really think about what's going on here? Think of the expression, beaten down by life. Sink into that. Perky, tight-lipped. Oh. Different expressions, they come from those situations. It's that pattern, that repetitive pattern. So when I'd put people on the plumb line, and I'd actually take a picture, and then we'd analyze that, and then that's their goal for walking forward in life. So that's what I'm talking about with what's going on in those emotions that you have here. That face that Mom says, don't make that face, it'll stay that way. It's what happens to us. So when we get up in the morning and or whatever time of the day, doing your routine, you're getting ready, I call the lipstick or the shaving face, and it's like, things are looking good, whatever. But that's not the face the rest of the world sees. It's what I call the driving to work face, because as soon as you walk away from there, you go into that, oh yeah, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, oh shoot, I didn't do that. Oh, have I got everything lined up for that deal? Am I ready for the talk? You see how everything starts changing, and the feeling that comes on? You are an accumulation of the emotional experiences that you've had. The skeleton tells the story of your life as you're growing through to maturity. The flesh tells the story of how you feel about what's happened to you. That's why you look the way that you do. I often say I should have a picture of the family I no longer look like, because that's been a big part of my journey. And for each of you, it is the same. You think about the relationship with your father, your mother, your sisters, your brothers, your grandparents, your siblings. That all carries a cellular memory. So how you relate to those in your personal life and in your business, the words that you speak, how you feel, how you react. So that also triggers that behavior around those that you're in front of. So who is your ideal client? I always start with, who do you want to work with? So what happened for myself is I'm with teaching all of these students for this decade and going through this experience, they became my business clients because I love business. I am a business coach, and I live in Saskatchewan, Canada. Do any of you know where that is? Can you say Saskatchewan, my American friends? So I live, well, way the heckin' gone. So years ago already, I had to find a way to reach more people. So I've been an online coach since 2015. I had to discover how to reach more people because I have a huge land base, but the people are very far and few in between. So I started working this way and collecting my customers that way from 2015. And so my students would say, teach us to do what you're doing, because it was pretty fabulous. I left real estate. It was not fabulous. I made lots of money, didn't have time, didn't have the interest to enjoy the money. And so it was a long time before I figured out how to have that life that I was looking for. But once the therapy came in and life started changing and I was attracting all of these new clients and body got healthy, body got younger. When you let go of the emotional baggage, you find a new vitality. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a body rolling teacher. These are all things that I live, I do, and I push this on to my clients now too, because if you have that level of energy, your clients feel that and you attract that. So anyways, I became a coach to my students, and it wasn't easy. And I figured out what was going on there too, because they're so much on the path of healing. They were really difficult business clients. So I decided this is not fun anymore. And I've been in therapy for a decade. It's time to switch. So I started working in the direction with entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs have that willingness, have that drive. They'll roll up their sleeves, they jump in. Okay, just tell me what I need to do, I'll do it. So that was a big shift for me, because I've found inside of the entrepreneurs this tremendous willingness to do the work that I'm so passionate about. So that's how I touch lives. So same for yourself. When you understand how and why it is that you're attracting or repelling, it's becoming more conscious of that, and it's shifting patterns. It's just shifting patterns. So in your willingness and your drive to create more awareness about the work that you do and attract more clients, it's just about shifting. So when it feels uncomfortable, just remind yourself it's just about shifting. And thank you, Damien. I love what you said about it's not your fault. Like, on so many levels, there's so many things going on from that external outside world. All the things that you're supposed to do, you should do, why didn't you, what's wrong with you, and how we beat ourselves up. Give yourself permission to just be human, to just be okay with it, and just every moment is a new opportunity to move forward. So what people are really looking for is connection, eye to eye. So on what I teach on a physical level is so much about the spiritual, because I think our greatest challenge in this life is about being more human. Instead of being doers, we should be, if we looked at ourselves as more of being in the moment rather than saying we're in the moment and doing other things. So a good example is how this alone takes us so out of our body. How many meetings are you in? How many calls are you on? Do you think that they don't see that you're really not there? That disconnect for that person on that other side, especially in Zoom, it's so detectable. Those are micro movements, shifts in the eyes. But if you look, each of you, I can see where you're looking right now and wherever your camera is. So when you're with your people, especially online. Just focus. I keep looking at Damien, he's over there. So I'm just going to shift so that I'm talking right to you now. So if you do that one thing when you're on your calls, turn this off and be fully present, that connection that you'll have with those people. Often words don't even need to be exchanged because people feel heard, they feel disconnected. So basically I'm trained as a body reader, a face reader. And when I'm reading a face, I'm also understanding what's going on in the rest of the body. So many of you are familiar with chakras, the energy centers. So this is how we take information in. Chakras aren't in our bodies. It's about our energetic body and how we experience the world around us. Whether you see it, believe it or not, it's what's going on. It's like gravity, it's like oxygen. It's part of the natural forces, natural laws. So the chakras are on the face, they're on the hands, the ears, the full body, and the feet. So that's part of how I understand people. When I read a face, it's not anything psychic. I'm just understanding how you process information. So your overall face shape, the color of your hair, where hair grows, the direction of growth, the color, it all shows how you take information in. It's like TV antennas, or it's like satellites, or actually your ears are more like satellites too. Anyways, that's a family joke. But anyways, your ears do say a lot about you. Coming from the beauty industry, I understood that the ears and the nose are the two parts of the anatomy that continue to grow after you reach full maturity. I was always teased about my cute little button nose and my ears that go along with it. That is something that's changed dramatically in just the last 5 years. And I have the pictures to prove it, because I don't think I have a short little button nose anymore. And my ears actually show how much I've come into myself. So if you think about the pictures you've seen of Buddha, that truly is the spiritual connection to self. Or even the hair, we have that the picture, a picture in our mind from what we've seen about what they perceive Jesus to have been. But I believe that the hair is more about the spiritual connection to self. When you go into the army, many of you may have been, they shave off the hair and they put on a cap. Honestly, that's about shaving off the emotions. A bald head will be someone that's very analytical, and I'm going to go into a little bit more structure around this, but I just want to give you some examples as I come into this. So shaving off the emotions, slapping on that cap, and it's about being able to focus on that task that's in front of you. So I'm married to a man who's got a landing strip for flies, he used to say, and it's someone who spends a lot of time in his mind. So, and all really what I've learned, the background from what I've learned comes from a huge body of teaching. Ancient wisdom, ancient Ayurvedic medicine, Sanskrit, all the way up to today, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, neuroscience, truly, and physics and quantum physics. So there's a whole combination of it. One of the reasons I became a yoga teacher was because of the body-mind connection. What's going on in here can be caused from here, but also the other way around. So when you move the body, you're moving through stuck energy, which is the traumas that get lodged at a cellular level in our body. So like I say, all of these things are connected, but also when I talk about how we take information in, the aura that I'm talking about is part of how we are all connected. You know, when you get into an elevator alone, it feels all right. How does that feel when others start coming in? Right? Sometimes it can be like a goopy feeling, or it's kind of like, ooh, I can hardly wait to get out of here. or walking into a room and feeling like, ooh, you can cut the air with a knife in here. What's going on, right? So that's all about how we take information in. So for understanding others, what I teach, I can't give it all to you, because actually it's a lot of information. It's a lot of information, but also there's a lot of processing that happens, because it's about understanding self. And truly, when you look at who it is that you're working with, from a business perspective, it's about what problem you solve. From a human perspective and a body language perspective, it's about what problem do you solve? What problem are you really solving for them? So I don't fully understand your business. There's a lot that I don't know, even just facts about your business. What I do know from a business perspective is that when people feel heard, they feel understood, and they feel like someone cares. When they don't have that connection, they don't feel like you're interested in them. You're just a number, they're just a number to you, or you're just after the money. Well, because I come from a touchy-feely, and I've been in the yoga world for a long time, there's also that opposite. It's not about the money. Well, it's actually what the money does in our life, and money is energy, and money is important, and money makes people funny. So if you're funny about it, if you have conditioning from your upbringing around it, it will always be a blockage. So it's about in your body language, it'll come across in more than one way. It'll be about the questions that you don't ask. It'll be kind of like the white elephant in the room, and maybe you can't close because you don't feel confident in that. So I speak about this because there's strategies that you can use, but it's also something that you may have been working on for a long time, or it's something that you've been avoiding for a long time. And it'll show up in the words that you say and how you react around others. So
Laurel, can I ask a question?
Please.
So I'm really curious, if we had people here on the call put some of the challenges that they have on sales calls, for example, if they get nervous, if they can't ask for the sale, if something else comes up, could you give them, an exercise that they can do to shift?
Yeah. Actually, what I'd like to do, thank you so much, Leanne. I just wanted to set you up a little bit for that. And because I don't want you to confuse this with tactics, because I believe this is a great strategy, but also it's from your inner world, and it's about understanding those that are in front of you, so you can make the connection and also talk and understand, so that you can be understood, so that they also connect with that. So I'm going to give you some overall face shapes and body shapes, because generally what's going on here is also an archetype and a shape. So I knew from the beauty industry that we rounded women up and we squared men off. It's in nature and it's around us. It's also lends to different feelings. So square is masculine. It's when you see it in a face, it can be someone who's stubborn, someone also who is not easy to sway. It comes from conditioning that they grew up with. Blockheads can be related to that. It can be that. So what I see is that when they're square or that blockhead, they tend to also have squareness in the body. It can be larger. So it comes from holding their ground, a sense of a feeling of, I got to stand my ground. So they can be very determined. So when you see that square, look for round, because round is the feminine, is sensitive. And often people who are square have been bullied. And think of the guy that pumps himself up to be all tough. He's generally the marshmallow underneath. So it's also a sign of a hard worker. So when you're with anyone, eye connection is actually soul to soul. So that's why that is so important. And here's what many of you do. When you get talking, you go into your filing cabinet, what I call the girl cave, because all my favorite things are up there. But this is what happens when we go up into the filing cabinet and we're looking for our stuff. We don't know that we're doing that. We're in our zone. And what happens for those in front of us is that they feel disconnected from you. So that's why Zoom is such a great training ground. Keep focusing. Okay, so when I'm going to come back to the chakras, because Zoom is exhausting. I see someone making the comments. Yeah, Zoom is exhausting. Well, it's because you've got a lot of stuff in your mind, and what I'm talking about is actually we go out of our mind, we go out of our body. And that might sound like a airy-fairy thing to say, but it's not. That's why we're feeling exhausted. So come back home to your body. So when you come into this alignment where you bring your chin into alignment, shoulders above hips, there's a grounding that's happening. And all of the other energy centers are also lining up. So I want you to think about this. When you're in your mind and you're busy and you've been there all day long and you're putting yourself out there for everyone else, do you see what's happening for me? I'm getting closer to my computer and my root chakra, which is all about my foundation, how I feel supported. It's connected to my business, my career, and everything else out there that's kind of not supporting me right now. I go out there. You're your own pain in the neck, and it creates a disconnect in that channel of energy that goes up and down the spine. Everything's connected to the spine. So when you're disconnected, that's what happens. Being on this disconnects. I started seeing over 10 years ago how come the younger people had this shape. So if you can touch the back of your spine, the top of the spine above the neck, and there's a lump there, and I didn't even know I had one. It was bigger than I could wrap my head around. It's what's happening from going out here, from putting yourself out there. So when you're feeling that all day long at the computer, a simple act is to just come back here. So identify that in those around you. You'll start seeing this. After our call today, you're going to start looking at people differently, because what's going on here actually is going on from the bottom of your feet all the way up your body. So just come back home, but you'll see that others around you are out there putting themselves out there, and they too don't feel supported. So the pointier the chin, the more sensitive they are, the easier they are to topple over. Okay, so if I were to take your head off your body and place it on a table, would you be that blockhead, or are you fragile, that easily manipulated? So those are two amongst many that if you just start looking for those variances in people, becoming more observant of that, because the experience you're having with others, whether there's a connection or not, has more to do with how you can connect with them. So in part of what it is that you do, you want them to hear you. The best way to have them hear you is to hear them. Having the questions that allow them to talk, and while they're talking, let them talk. Because that's the biggest area of improvement that can happen out there, especially right now with all of the noise online is to be able to give them someplace where they're heard instead of being talked at. Because you're experiencing that too, right? So everybody in this moment, I just want you to have that, draw your chin back, squeeze your shoulders up to your ears, squeeze them up so that you really feel that. Now squeeze them behind you like you're squeezing a quarter between your shoulder blades. Just squeeze, really put some energy into that. Really let it happen. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, release your shoulders. Doesn't that feel good? Okay. Okay. So, I really would like it, if you have a question for right now to come on and just ask me a question, maybe about a particular client, maybe something that happened, because we can talk about that too. So this part is about identifying what I call the red flags. Red flags. I don't walk around reading people, and I want to share with you that I have people that are no longer in my life that actually would do this when I come around. Because what's going on with you has nothing to do with people around you. Okay? That's your stuff is your stuff and their stuff is their stuff. So when you see their behavior, just know that they're reacting to something with you. It's not anything you caused. Because here's the truth of it, is nobody can fill you up. Nobody can make you feel loved. Nobody can make you feel happy, sad, or suck your energy. It's what you give away. So in those moments when you're having that, that's when you, oh, okay, come back home, check in with me, focus on being in your center. Because people are just reacting. Okay, so we don't have enough time for us to do a really deep dive because I want to give you as much as I can. Let's see here. I'm just looking at some of the questions. There's product design to maintain eye contact for online meetings. Is that right? That's cool. I haven't heard of that one, David. Everything is about the eye contact and what you're observing around you. Jody, did you have a question?
I did. But what I'm dealing with is when I'm not seeing the person because I'm on the phone. But at the same time, the tone of voice, the rejection, because I'm making cold calls, okay? And so as earlier when you were speaking about how you get that daily rejection and how it makes you just want to sink in, and I need something that will help me keep that positive mindset so that moving forward, the next person doesn't hear that defeat in my voice. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much for saying that. Yes. So, and I know you've heard this analogy about the lion chasing the gazelle, and when the gazelle gets away, they just shake, they go into convulsions, shaking it off. And that's what's different about us, is that we carry that and we carry that fear, the fear of rejection, and then it goes into self-sabotage and all that. That's why I say your body is your business. It's so important to get up and shake it off. I actually, we do so much of this. The reason why I became a yoga teacher was to teach that to my students so that you have that experience. It wasn't optional to be in my courses and not have a body practice. And today with entrepreneurs as a business coach, that's where we start. What's your daily practice? There's yoga mats and stuff. As a body rolling teacher, I have them right here. I actually give my clients balls. I think it's so funny because the balls are about connection with self, and they roll out the dense tissue. And the dense tissue is the trauma, the rejection, the stuff that you don't have to carry. It's that stuff that exhausts you. And it shows up on your face, it shows up in your tone of voice. So the reason the the yoga is so important too is the voice practice, the Om, because let it out. You have to have a way to let it out. So every time you have a call like that, you could just do that simple correction. Okay, this is going on, so I'm coming back into my grounding. How am I talking? What vocal range are you in? Are you stuck in one, or are you going through all of them? Because it's not just what's coming out, it's what's coming out through all of that. So all of my business clients, my yoga students have an Om practice, because Om goes through the register in your body. It's the all-encompassing sound. It opens up the vocal cords, and there's so much more that's going on there.
Well, the vibration is a big part of it too.
The vibration is the frequency, is the dense tissue, or what breaks up the dense tissue and opens it up. Do you know the opera singer that hits the note that breaks the crystal? That's a perfect example. That resistance is breaking the pattern. It's shifting. So you do that through doing Om. I have a totally different voice. Mine was so stuck in my childhood that I didn't even like the sound of my voice. I tried singing. My kids would say, please, mommy, don't. and truly, once I started doing this, it was like effervescence that comes forward. Honestly, I just want to share with you. This is what happens to me through my day. Can you?
No, I want to hear it.
Okay. I'm going to give you an Om practice today. But what happened for me was that just in that moment, my spine just released, because I've been at my computer most of my day. Do I look like I've been sitting at a computer since 5 a.m.? No, because I break up that energy that used to just get stuck. Sitting at your computer, your spine, everything is compressing. Your lungs, if you touch the top of your shoulder and find the bottom of your rib cage, that's how big your lungs are. So the life force energy that you're not getting because you're at the computer and it gets all sunken in. So you need to expand. That's why I say after you have those experiences, those calls, get up and shake off, or dance, sing, lift out your voice. Okay, so I am going to give you your Om practice, and we are going to do this together. You can stay muted for now as we practice, but then at the end, we're going to do an Om together. So 75% of your breath goes to the O. And as you're doing it, when you're first doing it, it's going to be constricted, you're going to cough. That's just the way it is. But your lung capacity will start expanding over time. If you did nothing other than this will change your life, because it's going to shift energy, a frequency that where you're stuck right now, and the people that are attracted to you right now, it's going to elevate that. So what's coming to you, you have control over. Bottom line is you have control over all of that. Okay, so 75% goes to the O, 25% goes to the M. Okay, in the beginning, you might not be able to do it really long, but over time, I'm amazed at how long I can hold my breath for. Okay, I'm going to turn my face away so you don't see down my throat. Okay, so practice with me. Line up your shoulders above your hips. You're going to take a big breath in, draw in, okay? I'm not sure how you feel. You might. I actually am a little bit calmer. Okay. So it's good to do at least 3 of those. That instantly grounded me. Yeah. I am high energy. I am like this all of the time. What breath taught me was, learning breath taught me how I was forcing myself to be high energy. 'Cause somewhere in my day, it kind of goes away, but I kept going. Can you relate to that? Okay.
I have a question for you on the Om. It's part of my practice when I'm doing chants and meditation and stuff. And so I think it could be helpful. What's a strategy to pull it from the gut? So it's literally coming from under the navel.
Yeah. So it's practice. It's as you draw in spine. Truly, it's not just one thing, and it's a practice, but it's also a pattern. If you create a daily ritual or just a more regular ritual with it, start seeing the benefits. So as you draw in, just continue lifting up. There's many different ways of doing breath practice. So just in the beginning, start doing it. Yes, we all breathe, but most of us are just top breathers. Just to get the oxygen in, the life force energy will change your health. It'll change your mind. It'll give you good skin. It'll give you more energy, more focus. There's so many benefits. You can go without food. You can go without water. You cannot go without breath. But most of us are living a lesser quality of life because we're not taking in the breaths. That pause that it takes to take those breaths is that moment of being in the moment. Many say, oh, I am in the moment. I live in the moment. No. Now, Damien, I have a good feeling for a lot of the things that you do in your life and that you have a practice in that. How many of you have been on a meditation retreat or a retreat of any kind where there's practices? Do any of you have? Great. Do any of you do a ritual, a daily ritual, by a show of hand, practice yoga or chanting? Fabulous. You know, when I started, it wasn't such a cool thing. My husband would always say, "Can we just not talk about it?" But it's been a big part of my life for a long time. I work with quartz crystal singing bowls for many years, the clear colored, and I created a course around it that teaches people to read the energy blockages in the body. And just being around the bowls was really interesting. There's lots of information that comes in that it just taught me more about being in the body. Being successful in your business is about being successful in your body. So the more attention you pay here, the more energy you will have to be more grounded out there, and you'll attract that client, that more ideal client that makes you feel more successful. You'll be able to speak to them in a way that they buy in to what it is that you're saying. So, Jody, have I answered some of those questions? Have I helped? So,
absolutely, because even just in that one practice that we did, thank goodness you guys couldn't hear me, but and I like the word practice because I think that it will take practice because I'm not one of those that has that daily routine yet. But just doing that once, just kind of, it gave enough energy, and it wasn't very well thought through. But I could tell how being on the phone, making those cold calls, and just stop for 30 seconds and just take those breaths to get back on track. So yes, thank you very much.
I actually, Jody, I like this for you, understanding that you're cold calling, and you want to get rid of the commission breath, right? You want to just shake it off. And I did not realize, Laurel, so when I do ohms, I might do 21 of them, or I might do 7 of them. I might be in a hot sauna, it might be whatever. But in between meetings, I never thought to just take a step for just a minute and do 3 of them, for instance. And I could see how even 3 could really help reset right after you had just an asshole on the last call. Like if you literally, Jody, just have someone that, just burns you up, and you just take that 30 to 60 seconds and do a little reset like that. Sure, dancing around is it works too, but if you're pissed, how do you really dance around? So you just sit down and do this whole home thing. I think that's awesome. So thank you.
Or the other is what I call the crazy lady laugh. and really, because you draw it from the belly up. And the more ridiculous it sounds, the more important it is for you to do it.
How guys do that? Obviously, we want to know too.
The Chevy Chase crazy guy laugh.
Oh.
Yeah, just especially when you're alone in your car driving. Now we're alone in the office, so that too. But because it shifts that. So the thing is about the Om is that it doesn't just shift you, it shifts the space around you. My husband and I, as we travel the world, we Om. We have Om'd in so many amazing places. And in the beginning we felt kind of silly, but it was like, wow, we really left our mark there. It was really profound. So we've been in many spiritual places, temples, and Sedona was so much fun. So Grand Canyon. So think about that. We brought our children into it. They're grown adults now too, but it's something that shifts you, that once you start doing it, again, no words need to be expressed. So the questions that you ask your people is part of the reaction that you get, or if you're searching for a response that you want, it would be by the questions that you ask. And I always come from a place of service in that I want to serve, and I know what it feels like to be a servant to my work and to the people that I want as customers. So I have had to shift that in me. So finding those, I call them high-ticket conversations. I have a 78% conversion rate, which I didn't know I was that effective at it. My coach showed me how to break it down. As you can tell, I'm more of the right brain creative type. But also understanding that about myself has helped me to be more effective in my business. Learning tech is left brain, analytical. And I forced myself to learn the tech with awareness that this is going to change me. There's no going back to that old way. And truly, I'm proof that it rewires the brain. I lost my memory from the stress that I went through. Driving down the highway on my way to work on a Monday morning, I didn't, in a moment, it was like, where have I been? Where am I going to? I woke up with panic attacks because did I get everything in on the contract? Is everything right? I started dropping my children off at their appointments, and I'd get a call, Mom, this is next week. Would you come back and pick us up? So learning all of this left-right brain activity and not just recognizing it, but proactively doing that and recognizing that in other people. It's all about how we have a balance or imbalance in our lives. Because the people you're dealing with are going through stuff too. So if you hear in them and see in them the imbalances, you'll be able to speak to them at a deeper level that they'll get you. They'll be interested in listening to you because you're giving them that space to speak. So how is their day? How is their day? How are you? How's your day going? I am approached all the time about coming into companies, and sometimes I end up in calls that are so horrible and markety that I have to stay and see how bad it really gets, because I'm taught. I was on 2 last week that it's like, how did they get in here? Because I'm usually, and they'd ask a question, and there was no pause, and they were telling me, and they were assuming that I was this, and this, and when the one, in fact, when she actually stopped and wanted me to answer because she wanted to close, then I laughed. I said, "Oh, you want me to talk now?" and she was like, what's your problem? I said, I can't believe that you're interested in me. You assumed so much, and you know this in sales, that when you assume, you make an ass of yourself, right? So she didn't. And this is someone who's successful for 20 years, and it was all about her. And I felt really badly for her, but I also saw how in her wrists she had bandages from carpal tunnel and all of that. All of that, talks about how she's felt unsupported in her life. I thanked her so much for the experience, and I said, this isn't how I want to be in my business, and I wouldn't treat people this way. And she just kept diving at me, because that's how she's been trained. So I didn't mean to go in another direction. So anyways, it's identifying them and where they're coming from. Meet them where they're at, and I'm sure that that's your approach. You want to. So if there's anything in here that you want me to expand on, so it's watching for the red flags for you and for them, because you can start identifying what they need to connect with you. And for you, it's doing the breathing, coming back into feeling supported in you. And I'm just looking here to see if there's any questions when you see.
And before we get to them, I just something came to mind. I know that you said the red flags, both theirs and yours. And I think it would be extremely helpful for everybody on here, just list them out, like the different red flags of things that you shouldn't be doing. I mean, obviously the number one is eye contact. So when you look at that little circle up at the top with the green light, that's going to be eye contact. So that's the obvious one, right? But there's a lot of not so obvious things that we do when we're like, I'm doing it now. I've been doing it while I've been on here or whatever. We all, when we're in the sales environment.
The disconnect, if they're on their phone, it's in those moments, it's I saw some heads come up. It's ask a question, because Zoom and phone is the same thing. You get a feel for them. So it's about engaging them. So if there's a long pause, it's are you with me? Does that make sense? And I'm sure you have a lot of those too. It's looking away, or is there a better time? Just asking the question. Here's a funny thing that we do. We can see the stuff going on, but we act like, oh, we'll just ignore that and it'll go away. That is the red flag. So the red flag is about what am I doing that they're reacting or disengaging. So in that moment, come back home, take a breath, revitalize, and ask the question. Truly, when I'm in a room with people, I work with from the feet up, because if you're with them physically, what's going on with their feet? Their feet show how they walk through life. It also shows how they experience pain in their body. So you too watch what's going on with people's feet. If they're out there, then bring yours in. Right now, look down at your feet. Which direction are they pointing? Okay, that'll be a fun thing for us to do. Tell me what direction they're pointing. I'll tell you something about you that... Okay, Rodney, what did you say? Yours are straightforward? Yeah. Okay, so... okay, great. Okay, so the left side of your body is your inner world, your feminine side. Right side is the masculine, is the outside world. So when they go in both directions, I'm thinking about everything. I'm a multitasker. I'm going in many directions. It's also what gives you a pain in your own butt, lower back pain, because it's how you have to hold your body to keep going at that pace. So, and Rodney, when you said your feet are straight forward, that could very well be. I would wonder if your toes are straight up, because you're someone who, no. And you know what, this is kind of confronting to do this in front of a whole bunch of people. so you're okay. But the length of the toes here, the tips of the toes and the fingers are the mind. So when someone's sitting here doing this, you know that they're thinking. Yeah. And every part of the digit speaks to a different part of the physical body and the chakras. So throat chakra, everything happens, there are no accidents, and everything can be explained through your body. So if you have different parts of your body that experience pain, discomfort, have birthmarks, stretch marks, all kinds of marks, it can all be understood. The way that they talk, how they move their mouth, how they speak into, it says a lot about them. So let's see. Okay, so
Always duck feed. Is that because I'm multitasking all over the place?
well, you kind of, nobody's harder on you than you are on you. You kind of beat the crap out of yourself, Damien. You intuitively understand that your body needs to have that practice. Intuitively, we go searching for the answers to relieve the pain in our body at some level, even if we don't recognize it as pain. There's because your feet go like that, I know that you step heel down, heel down. Heel is the intestines, and that has to do with root chakra also. So it comes from a pattern of, okay, buck up, get out there and do the job. Get out there and do that. And you probably heard that in your home growing up, or it's kind of like, pull up the bootstraps, keep on going, because nobody's going to do it for me. I got to do it. You drive yourself hard. You're used to driving yourself hard. It's a pattern that's been there for a long time. Even the facial hair shows that you have a lot to say. There's a lot to express. So it would be interesting to see how it would feel for you to remove that. I just always say, if coffee is your regular pattern, see how it feels first thing in the morning. You don't jump out of bed and make coffee. Just stay in bed. See how that feels. Don't go into the kitchen. Don't make the coffee. See how that feels. See how that feels.
I agree with you, because I was getting into a pattern there where right around 5:30, 6 in the morning, I'm getting ready for the stock market to open. I'm diving into a bunch of videos on that, getting up to date, and I realized around 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending on what was going on with the market or what I was getting, I just am drinking my coffee and I'm really in a bad state to start my day. And I realized that when it was compounding day after day after day. So I switched it up. Okay, fine. I'm going to do my morning routine before all of that. So I'm not going to have coffee, so I can actually have a good meditation, and we'll worry about the market 2 hours after it opens. Okay, so just switching it up, and it is a very big difference. Coffee. I feel like I got to make coffee every single day. The days that I don't, and I just literally don't, I do feel better. I have deeper meditation. I feel a lot more productive and less scattered, and I don't have that anxiety or that not anxiety, but
that feeling of being on.
Yeah,
right?
like my wife says, put the coffee down. Like, you've had enough coffee. That's it. Like, and I know it's because the energy that I'm giving off, and it is a different energy when you don't pump that caffeine, and I make my coffee like mud. And so it's seriously something. So just changing things up. What great advice.
Yeah, I'm a coffee drinker, but I'm like special beans. I travel with my beans in my French press. Even when I go to Bali and Mexico, I don't care that they grow it there. I gotta have it my certain way, and it's that one cup in the day. That's that one perfect cup. And sometimes I have it later, but so for me, it's not about having the coffee all day long. It's about, how does that make you feel? What is it that you're doing? The patterns. Honestly, I often say, the family that I no longer look like, I used to think it was the food that we ate that made us look like the people in our family. That is part of it. But more than anything, it's the patterns around that. I don't eat the foods that my family eats anymore. That was part of it. That became part of the, I can't be there at Christmas anymore. I don't have a Christmas ritual anymore. we have other things that we do now. That's been a really big part of what's shifted. I also don't have a relationship with my family. And that's not because I don't want it. They can't stand me. I've gotten so damn healthy. They can't stand listening to it. They don't want to see it. I'm also outliving my siblings. Now, I'm just about 60. I don't think I look just about 60. Now, when I was 40, I did. That's the biggest change. So right through here on our face is the heart chakra. And that's where we carry our emotional baggage. That's how it shows up on our face. And there's a lot, that's a real simplistic way of explaining it, but once you start letting go of that emotional crap that you carry around with you, you no longer talk about that because it's no longer part of what you're experiencing. It's not what you're interested in. You've elevated the energy, the vitality, the frequency in your body that it is about. It's not about doing the job. It's about the career. It's about the difference you're making in the lives of those that you serve. Why do you do what you do? Or the work that you do, how does it serve you in your life? That's where the life is. It's about finding that passion in that. I think I was the youngest Avon lady. I've always loved sales. I truly believe that sales is service. But I became a servant to what I was doing in life. And that's where I had to change. When you hear, what are you selling now? Like that's probably polite. But the thing, right? Because you've heard all of that. That's that projection. That means you're in front of the wrong, you're not in front of your ideal clients. But that doesn't mean that your ideal client is in front of you. So when you do that inner work, you start discovering that your ideal client is in front of you. Because I recently came through a rebrand with all of this work, this lifetime work that I'm doing. I've been in so many different marketplaces and in so many different summits, and I've been test marketing it, and it's like those people are there. They are there. And it's just finding the right language, the way to express it, and seeing those that are in front of you, or feeling those, even through the phone. Through the phone you can, but it comes from you. It comes from a deeper place. It is about understanding you. The more you release that dense tissue in you, which is the sadness, the rejection, the pissed off, all of those things, the more you are in the flow of your life. And scientifically, honestly, every day they're coming out with more and more and more. That's why it's so important to drink the coffee, love drinking the coffee, be aware of when you're drinking your coffee, that you're not doing it for addiction, because it is about, that's how I used to drink coffee, was to keep me going, when in fact it works the opposite of. So do it so that you're enjoying it fully. Make everything that you do a service to yourself, so that you enliven, enhance every cell in your being. And it reverses all of the toxicity that we can easily be exposed to. So when we think about toxic people, and there are many, but even so, there's more people that have toxic things happening around them, and it comes across as, FUs. We don't have to take it, but we can also shift it. So if we shift it in us, so here's one of the things that I learned early on in this work, with when there are those people in front of me, that's when I do the alignments in me, and I breathe life into me, and onto them I project that caring, that compassion. I don't believe in forgiveness, because we are each responsible for our reactions, our actions, and how we treat other people. That's just my belief. Doesn't matter how old, how young, whatever our demographic is. I believe that we all have an awareness and are responsible to ourselves. So we can treat We should treat ourselves with kindness and compassion first. That's like that life-giving force, and give yourself oxygen on the plane first before you help others. It's your self-care. Everything starts with your self-care. So that go to bed earlier, get up earlier so you can do that practice. It only takes a few moments to work up a sweat, which activates the creativity hormone in our body. So 5 minutes or less, many of us, 20 seconds, we can be feeling that, just do high intensity. So get up early, do high intensity, do your meditation, journal, drink water, really good quality water, hydrate the brain, because that's all connected to the rest of how we function. So if you start your day off more like that, I found that that's what I have to do in order to speak it, because I worked with therapists and practitioners for so long, and this is so many people, so many entrepreneurs out there taking one more course to get one more certificate to hang on the wall so that they're qualified, so they can go out and technique and tell others how to do it. You have to be it. When you believe it, you will be living it, and you inspire those around you. Your frequency, your vibration is higher, and they come to you, and I've lived it. I'm living it. I don't know what it is you sell. I don't know what it is you teach. Here's my card. Put me through. I want to be with you. I want to learn to be like that. Because what I saw around me growing up was the opposite. And that was one of the things that made me different. And honestly, I irritated those in my family because I wanted more. I wanted to learn different languages. I wanted to travel to other countries. I wanted to eat different foods. How terrible of me. How terrible are you? Right? So make waves. And that's what I was told. You're just such a wave maker. You just go out and you do those things. Who are you? Well, who are you? I got to ask you. Who are you? Who are you? Go out and be the best version of you. So it's about understanding you. It's not about judgment. So when you have those people that you're doing your calls with that are in front of you, just know that it's their shit, not yours. Okay? I give that one to you. That's their shit, not mine. Just let it be. That's their path. It's not yours. It's not yours to change them. You can only change you. That is what you have control over.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a question they want to go off of mute to ask? Change it up a little bit. Anybody have a question they want to get off of mute to ask?
Hey, Joe.
Hi. At the start, Liam, you mentioned in terms of our facial expressions, dictate more or less how we're feeling. And once you step away from the mirror, then that becomes, you're driving.
Can I just interject here? Okay,
Yes.
so where is your, okay, I see where your camera is. So can I have you just slide your screen, the Zoom screen, so that you're looking at me?
Okay.
Because I want to look at you.
Yeah.
So I just want you to be aware of what happens when you go, because you have this great big wise dome that has a lot of information. So you have a lot of filing cabinets, and when you're talking, you source that information. And I just want to say how I appreciate that you stepped forward like this. I'm not saying this to, I'm saying this to bring your awareness to how your people will feel. And for each of you, this is how it is. It can feel uncomfortable when your attention your pattern is being shifted. And Joe's just really good and willing. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I wanted to, my question was that you mentioned how our appearance has an impact on those that are watching us. And I know one of the things that I've began to realize that, and when all of a sudden I glanced at the mirror in my car, I'm like, I was frowning. And I'm like, why do I look like frowning? That's not how I feel. But why do I have a frown? And as much as I try to at that point, like, okay, think happy thoughts to turn that around, I was feeling it, I was thinking it, but I was not displaying it. And so And then, so as you're speaking, I thought, wow, if the people I'm speaking with, if I'm excited, but I'm not showing it, how do I turn that around? How do I start, kind of deprogramming my facial, cells to do the opposite and so forth?
Thank you. That's so perfect. And it is what I've been saying. It's about shifting that pattern. So I knew from the beauty industry that when you continually hold the face or any part of your body in a certain pattern, the fascial tissue underneath reforms. So if you think of a chicken breast, okay, and that clear tissue that's over it, okay, that's what you're like underneath. Your pockets of fascial tissue, ligaments, muscle, flesh, and you're surrounded by that clear fluid, okay? So every time you've had a thought, okay, so you think about mom and dad and that earlier part of your life and all of the stuff that goes on there, and you think, okay, so from then till today, how you are, the memories that you have, I want you to, all of you, just think about something that you think about on a regular basis from your childhood. Something mom said, happy or otherwise, something that happened. The energy that it takes to remember that is not just in that moment. It's all the way back to here. So you got to go through that filing cabinet. Joe, with your brilliant mind, you've got it. I also see how you remember everything. So it's like carrying that around with you, that your computer. We are computers. It is that. So that's one thing about you too that's unique and special to you is your memory. So, but you remember all of that, and that shape that you take on is not intentional from all of that. Oh, it's like this and that and whatever. And you all saw how Joe's face changed as that awareness came to the camera, right? So his focus became in his eyes. So in that moment, you were changing that pattern. So cosmetic surgeons will say that facelifts, they do more in this area here than up here because everything comes down. So when I talk to you about that disconnect, we also we're creating elongation of all this area. That's why you end up with that second or third chin and that hump back there. So this is just one example. So that coming into alignment, and that's what you would do, Joe, is when you're with people and those red flags, like I'm thinking about stuff where, come back center, come back home, or I see them doing stuff, or am I smiling? That's you correcting you. Come back home. It's what I call a correction. Just come back home. And one way you can fast track it is that crazy Chevy Chase laugh. Because when you disrupt that pattern, that's exactly what happens. So the mouth is connected to our creativity. It is the sacral part of our body. So the back of that pelvic plate. So all of this is connected. So this is about the great big ideas that we have yet to birth. It is in the area of our reproductive organs. It's if your lips, or if you're tight-lipped, if you're down in the mouth, all of those speak to what's going on creatively in your life, but also in your body, what you're expressing. So the disconnect, there's a group of fascial tissue through here called the platysma. So if you think of a knight in shining armor and that neck plate, that's exactly what it looks like underneath our skin. And the more we do this, go in here, the more it pinches and it pulls. It's connected along this part of our jaw, all the muscles in there, and it makes us look downturned. That's one of the ways that we age. So just think, I just gave you a huge anti-aging tip there. Yeah. So there's actually several key things in there that if you just did that, just come back into that alignment, be aware of what's going on here, okay? Because the information can then travel. Doing that alignment when you're doing yoga, when you're doing fitness. Think about working out. Well, that's part of the challenge of how we've come to be in the shape we're in today. It's taken you how many years to come to look like this? So it's not going to reverse immediately, but it can happen pretty fast if you tap into those red flags. So that will reverse that hump. Like I say, I couldn't believe that was bigger than what was going on, because it's back there. It's what I don't want to pay attention to. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah. So more smiling, more crazy man laughing. Stimulating your creativity. You can pump up the blood, the oxygenated blood, by bringing it to areas of the body. That's what massage is. You can do it in the face, in the mouth in particular. It's you can stimulate your creativity. I'll show you something that we do when I teach students the therapy, is because it's about expressing self, opening up. It's called the flapper, or some people call it the raspberry. And after 10 days of doing this, I don't have injections. I've never had injections, but I used to be quite tight-lipped. It's a pattern that goes in my family, because, I just better bite my tongue, or better, they were trying to make me not be a wave maker, right? So okay. So anyways, the raspberry, I have to pump up for this. So does that seem ridiculous? Okay, ridiculous, do it. Yeah. Well, if that doesn't make you feel silly, hey? But feel how that feels. Like you're bringing in life force.
It's amazing how some of these things we do, like even when a massage therapist goes like this and pushes real tight and says, or with the ohms and with the and it's amazing how doing the weird stuff actually gives you a shift in how you're feeling. It's amazing.
Society has been conditioning us to be a particular way, to do this. The ego is a gauge. We all have it. It's about how are we doing? Check in with everybody else. When I teach yoga, I say, the yoga mat, that's your country. Keep your business there. The other guys, that's none of your business, right? But what's happened in the yoga studio? What happens when we go work out, right? It's competing. It's looking at the other countries. It's like, okay, I want to be better. I want to be bigger. I want to be tougher. I want to be faster, smarter. All of these things, right? A really good one is, now my dad is not a beer drinker, but he always had a beer belly, and that just didn't make sense. He'd always say, oh, come on, hit me, because I rock hard, and this big belly. Well, I understand more about him today because of learning how to read people. The solar plexus, the belly, it's also this part of our face. It's where we go to recharge. It's connected, the chakras are connected to organs which are connected to issues in our life. So that's a big part of the understanding. This is solar plexus, kidneys. Diabetes is all about not experiencing the sweetness in life. And why he had the beer belly was because of his childhood. And it's not anything he ever talked about. And it was the stuff he was stuffing down there for so long. So that led to also the crap in his childhood showing up by a diagnosis and I don't give that a lot of energy, and I think many of you understand what I'm talking about, the C word, that he had 18 inches of his large intestine removed because of all the crap he carried around his whole life. He's amazing. He's just about 90. He's still alive. And you know, there's just so much about him that could have been, he could have experienced life differently if he didn't carry that around. That's each of you and I too. That you may have been given a diagnosis. That's just a diagnosis. It's somebody else's opinion. What's the truth of you? What is it that you truly want to experience in life? Whatever work it is that you're doing, this is what I love about entrepreneurs. And it's certainly true about myself, that what I do is deeply connected to a purpose in my life. It's some part of how I want to serve. So that what we buy into in what others say, that's just what others say. You can shift that by shifting your actions, having your own rituals, having your own practices. It's the things that you truly believe. So what I would see is a lot of people that would come into my classes. Now we would do a live-in. These are people that I've never been with physically before, and 12 days, 11-hour training days. We'd start our days with juicing, plant-based, meditation, yoga, and then we'd start our classes. Many had not eaten the way I eat. I'm very plant-based. For health reasons is how it started, spiritual reasons, moral reasons now is why I am like that. And we recognized that a lot of the foods that people were eating created a lot of extra drama. So that was a big shift for us. My first daughter had food allergies, which isn't, back then everyone thought it was a curse. It's one of the greatest gifts that's come into my life and to hers and the rest of our family. But that was one of the reasons why I was so different from my family. And it's also why my kids were so different from their cousins and the other kids in their class, is the stuff that they weren't putting in their bodies. So that one thing there made such a huge shift for so many people coming in and having that experience of what you don't put in your body, what you don't, like if you're constantly on, the stimulants, the sugar is so, yeah, anyways, that's a whole other topic. The sugar, the preservatives, and you know, the food, even the food, how it's prepared. Why does bread made in a bread maker smell differently than the bread that comes from, if you did, we grew up with mom making bread. Like there's all of these things. It's about you paying attention to those red flags in your life, because your body is telling you what your soul is wanting you to pay attention to. So love the life you have. If you don't, love the body you're in and create the life that you love. Love the people that are around you. Fill your life up with people that love you, support you, lift you up, and that's what you get out there. So anyways, I come back to this because the people that came into our courses had many previous diagnoses. Fibromyalgia, I'll just share with you. I've had a couple of doctors try and convince me of that. And I've seen people come into my course that they talk it. So first of all, we get clear about what's been going on in their life and what they've been feeling in their body. And it's a hypersensitivity based on the experiences that they've had in life. And they're probably sensitive to begin with. Claiming that you're an empath, claiming your dis-ease is my this, and that's a lot of what I rejected from my family. My arthritis, my this, my that. Every time you claim it for you, you claim it for you, but we don't realize that we're doing that. So I've seen people reverse physical conditions like what is the one where the skin color it's like they lose the pigmentation in their skin. So, and we take pictures, so I have proof of all of this. So she had the white blotches all over her body, but she would hide it underneath her hair, and so we wouldn't see it. But the hiding it underneath her hair was what also blocking her in those parts of her life, that after 12 days taking that picture, the ones around her mouth, because she found her voice and could speak up, those ones were completely diminished. The fibromyalgia, the whole time she was there, the more we talked, she talked about how she came to be in the shape she was in, the more she would like, damn it, I have it, come on, believe me. But then she had a moment where it flipped and switched in her mind, and by the time 12 days was up, she had to say, she felt she had to say, I realized that I don't have fibromyalgia. So there's all these things that we, vitiligo, yes, thank you, that was it. And there's a whole, so she also saw that she was involved in a community that, a support community, but how she also saw with the, that it was almost like, she says, Jesus, like they're convincing people that they have it. I said, well, yes, be aware of what you support. Support yourself first. Come back into your body. Don't claim stuff that isn't yours because it's genetic, because everyone in the family has it, what's familiar. Because here's the thing. When we go into business, our family and our friends love and support us. They're not our ideal clients. They like us to stay exactly where they are, where we meet them on that common ground, what's familiar. So if you start growing and reaching, there's many things that happen. It challenges them, challenges their beliefs. Oh, you think you're better than us? What, we're not good enough for you anymore? No, you got to stay here. You got to be like us. Yeah. So that's the reason why I don't have that relationship with my family. That's because, like I said, they can't stand me. I'm lovable, aren't I? That doesn't, right? I had to learn that. I love me. There was a time when I couldn't say that. So I'm not for everyone. That's okay. I am okay with that. So you have to be okay with you. And once you get right with you, with who you are, you realize that you support you. That was honestly, building my businesses has been the deepest spiritual work that I've done. Because for me, it's no option to go back to the boss, to go back to that life the way it was. I had to know that if everything fell away, because everything did fall away from me, that I would be okay. I'm okay. So you have to be okay with you.
This has been beautiful, Laurel. This has been awesome. I love the engagement on this. All of you have been asking some really good questions. Is there a question we may have missed? Because I'm getting ready to drive us into the lightning round, and then we're going to let Laurel go back to Friday.
I actually wanted to just come back to Rodney because I didn't really finish with Rodney. So
Rodney Harris, right?
Yes.
Welcome to the GoMobile Community, Rodney. He just joined yesterday. You had a good
Fabulous. Well, I just wanted to share something. When I met my first teacher, spiritual teacher, because I came from the beauty industry, I had this really great, big, wonderful do, and I had all my texturizing and all of this shaping happening, and she picked on me. Actually, I was in a big conference room, and I was there by myself, and she said to me, she says, "How come you keep banging your head? She said, how did you even drive here? How did you even get here?" She says, it's like the garage door is not fully open. And I was like so insulted by her, and I'm not picking on you, Rodney. Thank you but here's the thing, is that it's kind of like part of when we wear bangs, we actually are kind of living in the back seat. where it's kind of like I think that you have a really brilliant mind and you're a really caring person. I can see by the form that you are. You have a high intellect and you're really caring, but you kind of hide that part of you. So that would be part of what I would say to you or challenge you, is to see how it feels for you to wear it back off. For me, that was the hardest. That really was one of the hardest things that I had to learn. But it was that I experienced because I was taking a back seat. You probably are you shy or are you bold? I found you right away is quite open. Okay, do you want to speak with me? You want to unmute? The bees faster. Okay, unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, sure. No, I'm not really too shy of a person too much anymore. I have been from time to time while I've been learning things and figuring everything out. However, I'm in an area that I feel very comfortable with, and right now I'm just enjoying my hair kind of being a little bit longer than is normal.
Okay. Okay.
My mother is a beautician, so it's actually very, very hard for me to get away from not getting a haircut. And
I can relate.
I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have no choice in my haircut. Okay? I'm a mama's boy, and she believes that my hair needs to be cut a certain way.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's just hair. I really don't care.
Okay.
That makes her happy, so
See?
it's just one less thing.
You're a compassionate, caring man, and that's what I saw. And so for all of us to see that in Rodney, it's the round. Right away, I saw that about you, and I understand your pain. My daughters too. They grew up with mom doing their hair. my mom cut our hair too. Everyone on the street knew we were all sisters because of the haircut. That's probably why I became a hairstylist. so just saying, that was just something that stood out about me. But here's something that I would say about Rodney, is that his nose shows his work ethic. Rodney gets in there. Rodney cares, and he wants to know. The nose knows. So if the more upturned the nose is, the more the whoopee likes to have fun. So, and nothing wrong with that, but the length of the nose shows how they like to get in there. So I look forward to your success, Rodney, in this new venture. Yeah, I think Damien, he's got a great work ethic. It just shows.
Yeah, he had a great call yesterday. Especially when someone joins our program and we offer a one-on-one consultation and they take it the first day, it shows a lot about that person. I mean, they are ready to go. And so that was awesome, Rodney. I really enjoyed our call. All right, are you ready for the lightning round, Laurel?
Okay, I'm on.
All right, so the best advice you've ever received.
Okay, I go first.
Yeah, well, this is you. You're on the lightning round.
Oh, okay. It was just zip it. They're processing. That was from my real estate broker. And so I challenge each of you to just do that. See how that feels, especially when you want to talk. So they're just processing. Give them the presentation, then see what happens.
Love that. What book would you recommend to this group and why?
"12 weeks or 12 months in 12 days." That's the name of it. You know what? Because it's about condensing and being more effective and understanding that there's a process. That
Okay,
would-
so if anybody there you go. So if anybody actually got the title or link or anything, put it in here. The other one was internet resource or tool besides your own or app that our folks could benefit from.
Well, I love tech. I'm often frustrated with it. So here's one of the things that I love to do in a pinch is I have the pro version of Calendly, and it connects with all of my payment and stuff like that. So I love Calendly for that, because if you don't have time to do a landing page or an opt-in, it's a form of automation, and it takes care of everything. It saves my butt so often. So I really do. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I didn't even know that you could do that with Calendly.
Pro version. It's worth the $20 or whatever it is a month.
Awesome. All right. Well, this has been an incredible session. Laurel, how can our GoMobile community follow you and keep up with your work and things like that? If you want to let us know, we'll put it in the chat here.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I just wanted to recap for all of you the awareness around, whether you're attracting or repelling, connecting, and the red flags, and that takes you to that path of pure client attraction. And thank you, Damien, so much for inviting me. I love your group. I feel really special being invited in. So I do have a special offer also. I've created what I call the client attraction session, and it is I combine my years of business strategy with a psychosomatic therapy session, in that you have a psychosomatic face reading, and we turn it into pure client attraction. It helps you to understand, we can pinpoint what's going on, and then it'll help you in the laser coaching session to understand what your next steps would be. On my website, it's listed at $249, and for your people today, for being so gracious and inviting me in, I would love for you to take advantage of the offer at $99, and I will post that in the chat box. And if anyone had any questions around that, I would love that. I too would reach out on social media. That would I have a group where I love to interview entrepreneurs and introduce you to the group that I'm working with, and some of the groups that I'm around. So thank you so much for today. Did anyone have any question that I didn't answer? I could quickly answer that for you. No.
I want to say, having you speak here, it was just a very meditative experience for me. For some reason, it was very calming. As Damien will probably say, I don't always show up to these, but I did part of the research of looking up, who you were, like I do for all the speakers, and I just knew I had to be here, and this was so fantastic. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. So everybody just remember to come back home to your body, chin down, not chin down, chin in alignment, right? So that you feel supported. And let's finish off with doing an Om, okay?
All right.
Would everyone unmute? Everyone that's bold and willing, unmute, and we'll do it together. We'll send that vibration out to the universe, okay? Just, challenge yourself, okay? And remember, tomorrow, first thing in the morning, start it with an Om, okay? So we'll sit lined up, breathe in, keep drawing it in, breathe in. Oh. You're ready. Take a deep breath in. Thank you so much. Love you all.
All right, everybody, now you have to take off the mute button and you need to give our guest, who's been fantastic tonight, give her a big, warm sign off the Go Mobile Community way. Let's do it. Give her a big thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
And a lot.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Laurel. It's really been fun. This has been one of our, I've really enjoyed the session. Like Leanne was saying, it was very meditative and very calming. And I learned some really cool stuff today too. Some things that I didn't know. And you can bet that I'll be doing OMs in between meetings. And again, they were usually designated for those times I designate for that work. And it doesn't need to be that way. You can totally change things around and get benefits. So I really appreciate that tip today as well. And so thank you for all you shared. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Take good care. See you soon.
All right. Well, everybody, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. That was the Go Mobile Happy Hour Hangout. I hope you enjoyed it because I certainly did. And for all you fathers out there, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Hopefully,
Likewise.
family will spoil you.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Yes, happy Father's Day, everyone. Hopefully you'll be spoiled. Hopefully you'll get a good meal cooked for you. Maybe even you'll get a massage. Maybe the kids will do all their chores. Maybe you guys will actually, that's what Father's Day is for. It's kind of like the opposite of Mother's Day, right? So now it's your day. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time, and we will see you next week. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Go home or go home.
Go home.